I've been so busy working on other junk that I've let my junk fall apart. Well, we're gonna shift gears on this video, and instead of working on old junk, we're gonna work on a little bit newer junk. It's a 1990 K1500 Z71. It's Chevy flavor. Actually, it is no longer a K1500. About 2.5 years ago, I did a frame swap, and it is now a short bed, regular cab, 3/4 ton. Don't believe me? Well, look at them 8 lugs right there. Did a frame swap about 2.5 years ago. I've had this truck, I think I bought it in 93. I told y'all, I don't get rid of stuff. If I'm getting rid of it, well, it's pure junk. Anyway, for the last 15 years or so, the only time I would drive this truck is to haul the lawnmower to my parents' house to mow their yard, or where I used to work, I would drive it in the snow, and that's about it. Well, the reason the frame's rusted is that snow part. Where there's snow, there's salt. And once the snow was gone, I'd park the truck, and it would never see rain, driving in the rain, and salt never got washed off of it. Well, that just destroyed the frame. I, at one point, took a big old hammer, went around the frame, knocking the big old flakes of rust off. Well, this last time, I knocked 22 pounds of rust off this frame. I've done that a couple of times before. Anyway, I decided, well, you know, it's time for a new frame. If I'm going to do that, well, let's upgrade and make it 3/4 ton. I have hauled a ton of river rock in the bed of this thing several times. Last year, I believe it was landscaping around the house. Never even knew it was there. There's no way I could have done that with that 1/2 ton. It just wouldn't haul anything. Anyway, I think it was a very good upgrade. Basically all I did is right up here where they weld it together at the factory. Well, I ground a weld out, cut 14 inches out, put it back together, welded it, and back here on the back of the frame, I think I had to cut like 3.5, 4 inches off it, and then set the body on it. It's a 95 frame. It had the rear end, transmission, front differential, and had a cab on it. The cab's in the barn over at Mama's. Anyway, just set the body on it, and you know, it's little stuff I had to do, but yes, this is now a regular cab, short bed, 3/4 ton. It's got several issues. Like I said, I've let this thing go for the last few months, and it's falling apart. I'll walk you around it and show you everything that we've got to do, and then we need to get busy doing it. Upper ball joint right here is literally about to fall out. That will go to shaking in and out, and it shakes the whole truck, and it's almost undrivable because of that. We've got to get that fixed. That's actually dangerous. Then over here on the passenger side, I got a lug nut on this wheel. Cannot get off, cannot get on. It just spins. So we're probably going to take a plasma cutter to it and just cut the whole stud off. Let me walk you around to the back, and I'll show you what we got to do back there. See those exhaust pipes? Well, they're being held up by wire, and wire, I mean electrical wire. See that right there? I put this receiver hitch on it a few months ago, and the exhaust was in the way. So I basically had to undo them, spread them out, and I just wired them up for the time being. Well, actually, I used MIG welding wire first, and it broke. Well, that leads me to the next thing we got to fix. I didn't know it for 2 or 3 days. The exhaust was dangling, and the muffler, I had them welded together with a piece of flat stock because they were rubbing. So I spread them apart, put that flat stock on there, keep it from, you know, rattling. Well, that flat stock broke loose from the muffler. So now the muffler's got a hole in it. Got to fix that, because y'all know I hate an exhaust leak. It sounds absolutely terrible. After we fix that, the truck, it just sometimes will barely run. I don't know. I haven't popped the hood. I just haven't had time. It acts like fuel pressure. You know, this is a TBI engine, throttle body injection. It acts like it's fuel pressure. If it is, I don't know if it's fuel pump, maybe the pressure regulator. I don't know. That's what we're going to try to find out. After we get it running good, well, the transmission, it ain't acting right. It's a 4L80E transmission. That's what was in the frame, the 3/4 ton frame. And well, that's the first transmission I ever rebuilt. It's hard to explain. We'll get into it later, but just know that right now I have no second gear, and when you see how I'm having to shift it, you're gonna get a kick out of it. But anyway, that's about all I can think of right now. There may be some other stuff that I remember as we go along, but well, let me show you this before we ever get started, because I really like this. Oh yeah, that's a bunch of shimmy lay heads. Got some intakes, valve covers, distributors. There's a carburetor, a starter, fans, pulleys. I just got all kinds of stuff. There's oil pumps, oil pans up there. Well, to me, this is a huge score. To most people, they say, haul that off for scrap. Well, y'all know me. I like to do stuff on the cheap, and I love old school small block Chevrolet stuff. Well, look at here. This is a bunch of stuff, a bunch of motors we can put together. And same place this came from, he's got two 283s and an old 350 TBI that I got to go pick up in the next day or two. So that's 3 more motors that we got that we can put in stuff. This right here is awesome. I got to get this unloaded in the garage, and then we'll head to Mama's and we'll start working on this old truck. Well, it looks like we got a dumping truck in the way. I ain't started that thing in about 2 weeks. So let me get it fired up and get it out of the way, and then we'll get my 4-wheel drive down here. Gotta get my gas tank on it first. Get on there. You son of a gun. Get off of there, you son of a gun. Well, I reckon I'll have to leave it up there. Maybe it won't fall off this time. All right, let's see what happens. I gotta get in on this, or open the door on this side. I ain't gonna fix that door handle. This one still don't close either. Well, the old dump truck, she fired right up. Pretty doggone good. I think we'll start with this ball joint right here. So let me get her jacked up and get the tire off, and we'll get to working on that. Here's a little tech tip for you on jacks. If you oil the wheels, they roll a lot better. All right. Spring broke on my jack. I got to fix that. It's just always something. It just never stops. Well, upon further inspection, I got y'all aimed here. I thought I was going to show you the wobble on that ball joint. Well, it ain't happening. I mean, it's got some play, but it ain't like what I thought it was. Watch this though. That idler arm over there is probably shot. I don't know if that's what's causing the wobble or not. Let me do an experiment. I'm gonna let it off the jack. Well, I don't believe it's ball joint now. I believe my idler arm is so wore out that it's letting it do this right here while I'm going down the road. So, I don't think I'm gonna change this ball joint. All right, I got the camera set up on this idler arm, and I'm gonna go over and shake this wheel, and y'all watch it and tell me how much play we got in it. What's the happening, Captain? Shake, 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 shake. All right, what y'all see? Well, upon further inspection of the video, that wasn't a whole lot of play. I don't really know what's going on, but when I jacked it up, it had a whole lot of play. So let me jack it back up, and I'll wiggle it, and we'll investigate further. Always something going on. This jack, I believe a turtle it's faster than this jack goes up. My goodness gracious. Oh, that's a lot of play. Y'all see where it's at? Well, I'm having a hard time finding out what's going on with this steering. So I got my lovely assistant Mason here. He's gonna wiggle that tire and I'm gonna get up under here and maybe we'll figure out what's going on. Well, fellers, I ain't got a clue what's going on. I got up under it while he wiggled that tire back and forth, and I mean, the whole thing is moving, you know, there's no excessive play. Well, I let it back down off the jack and he wiggled it, and I can't find, you know, it's not, doesn't have a lot of play in it. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I think what I might do is I got an old cheap knockoff GoPro. We might mount it under here somewhere and go down the road and see if we can catch it doing what it's doing, and maybe that'll tell us what's going on. Anyway, right now we're gonna go over here and we're gonna cut this lug nut off of here. I think it's this one here, because it looks like it's not tightened up all the way. I'll get the gun out and we'll see which one it is, and let's just get that done right now. All right, let me see if this is the one that's spinning. No, sir, it just was loose. That's real nice. I do believe we found it. All right, well, let's chop that sucker off. These are not expensive wheels, but I still don't want to burn them up, so I'm gonna put me some wet rags all in here. Maybe we won't burn the paint completely off of them. All right, let's see if we can get this cut off. Well, it's just a butchered up mess. Is about all I got right now. I'll keep gnawing on it, I guess, till I get it. Well, let's do a little grinding. Maybe we can get smoothed up good enough to get that wheel off. Well, we got to grind a little bit more. Oh yeah, that did not go according to plan, but nothing ever does around here, so that's good. As you can see right there, part of the lug nut is still in it. Well, it just fell out. Lug nut is no longer in the hole. I can get my center cap now and put it on. I hadn't been able to put it on in 2 years, so now we get to. Let me get that on, get the wheel put back on, and we'll move on to the next problem. Let's hit that bare metal with a little bit of paint. Just keep it from rusting. Perfect, perfect. All right, let's get this center cap in. Get this big girl back on this truck if I can find the studs. Where are they at? Oh yeah. All right. Now, if I ever have a flat, I'll be able to change it. Y'all watch this right here. I don't know how well you can see that, but this upper ball joint, I can hear it and feel it. It's definitely bad. I don't understand that, because I can stick my head out the window and see that tire over there just going all over the place. So I don't know. What we're gonna do right now is we're gonna let it back off this jack. I'm gonna go back here and we're gonna work on the exhaust, and I'll worry about this later. Well, here's what I'm working with on my exhaust. As you can see, I still got my hanger, but there's a little bit of a disconnect there. Same thing on this one here. And I just now realized that one right up there, it actually broke the rubber. It pulled out. So I'll have to have another hanger there. I don't know how I'm going to get to the top of that muffler, because that's where that piece of flat stock is. It's on top, and that's where the hole is. Well, let's go up there and look at it. Well, up here at the mufflers, and I told y'all wrong. A piece of flat stock, well, it's right here. There's two big old holes, one there and one over there. And I'm telling you, it just sounds disgusting. Can't stand it. I'm not real sure what I'm going to do. I'm thinking about cutting it off here and then sort of starting over, because I just realized this hanger here is broke too. So both of these hangers got to be replaced. And then I've got to get it twisted and realigned back here, get it looking, you know, halfway decent. It ain't got to be perfect, but yeah, it's got to be a little bit better than what it is. And you can see right there, it's almost touching that rear end now. So we got to take care of that. So I think what I'm gonna do, let's just go ahead and cut it off here, and then we'll go from there. All right, let's see what we can tear up under here. All right, I got the mufflers cut loose right there, and I need to cut this bad stuff out. This is where that piece of flat stock is. Well, what I'm going to do, this is the female expanded end of a piece of, you know, muffler pipe, and I got about 2.5 inches. I'm going to use this as a coupling. I got about 2.5 inches I can use here, and I think I can cut off about 1.5 inches up here. So that'll leave me, you know, I don't know, 1 inch on either piece to weld back to, which I can fudge these mufflers forward some if I have to. That's no big deal. But anyway, that's the plan. I'm gonna cut this off, just cut this bad stuff out on both of them, and then we're gonna use that to couple them back together. Spin it, spin it, spin. All right. Let me file these edges off, and then we'll get these mufflers back up here in place. And that one fits. I already got both my couplings ready. And I'll put this one on, and I'll put this one on. And then we'll get the mufflers up here. And get everything lined up where I want it. I might put a tack on it. I'll get the muffler in there. Hold on. Well, where'd Mother Coupling go? Well, where in the devil? Oh, it's up here. I got it, I found it. All right, I got this one, the left-hand side, the driver's side, sort of situated where I want it. So, let's see if we can't get this one here to behave the same way. Well, I just slipped right in there. Well, that's pretty doggone convenient. I already got both couplings up here on the mufflers, and they're pretty much where they're going to go. The one on the driver's side, I may pull it up a little bit more. See, it's sort of hanging down a little bit. But that's pretty much where they're going to be. I don't have the clearance between the pipe and the rear end that I want, but it's going to have to do for now. I'm just, mainly, I wanted to get rid of that exhaust leak and then just get them hung again, because I didn't know these two hangers were broke. Anyway, let me go to the back and I'll show you that. This one over here, it looks like garbage. It's pointed down, and I may try to fix that. That's just the tailpipe that's cockeyed. I may try to fix that, but let me show you underneath here what it looks like. It ain't too bad. Like I said, I don't have the clearance right here that I want, but it's gonna have to do for now. I don't load this truck heavy very much, so I ain't too worried about that. I think what I'm gonna do is go back up there and tack the couplings and mufflers and all that, just where they'll stay in place for now. Then I can move this stuff back here where I want it, and then figure out where I'm gonna hang it, how I'm gonna hang it. I'm gonna tack this one on this side, and then I gotta rearrange the other one on that side because this doesn't fail. Y'all watch your eyes. Oh, you son of a gun, you, woo, that was hot. All right, now I need to straighten this enough, so I'll be back. Oh yeah. All right, that ain't too bad. Not bad at all. So let me tack it in place. Y'all watch your ass. Ooh, it's hot. See what I need to do next, I guess. Get all these old hangers off. Let me do that. Well, I've got it positioned where I want it pretty much, with the exception of this one over here. You see it's angled down a little bit. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the exhaust system itself is basically where it was, except a couple inches lower than it was before I put the hitch on. So the hangers, these hangers back here anyway, they're going to work. The hangers in the middle, I'm gonna have to make some. Hopefully they won't break. Anyway, let me show you on this left tip over here what I'm talking about. I don't know if you can tell or not, but this tailpipe here, it's angled down this way. The reason why? Well, I built this exhaust system myself 3 or 4 years ago in front of my garage, in the gravel, laying on my back. And that's why it's just a little bit crooked. I'm telling you, that was not a fun experience at all, but the end result, awesome. It sounds great, well, when I don't have any exhaust leaks. Anyway, I think what I'm gonna do is put a pie cut right here somewhere and then bend this back up and get it straight. And well, there's not a lot left to do. I need to either extend the old hangers, because it's, pretty much right where it was, or I might make new hangers and just attach them right here to this hitch. I ain't decided just yet, but running out of daylight, so we're gonna call it a day right now. And I've got to tie this exhaust back up with this wire so I can get home. I'm hoping that my tacks up front don't break, and then I can make it back over tomorrow and we'll finish this up. Well, it is definitely the next day, and I was going to start with doing the pie cut like we talked about on this tailpipe. Well, upon further investigation, I believe what I'm going to do, I welded those tips on because I didn't trust the little screws to hold it on. What I'm going to do is grind the welds off of either side, and then we'll just angle that up a little bit and I'll weld it back. That'll be a lot easier, a lot quicker, I think. So that's probably going to be the last thing I do. So I think now we'll just go ahead and start hanging it. I got to make 2 hangers up front and then 2 back here. So let's get busy doing that. I think I'll go ahead and grind these tips off now, whilst I can hang it down like that and get to it good. So once I get this ground off, then we will go ahead and make us some hangers. There she is. All right, I've got them in place. Well, this side over here is in place anyway. The way I'm going to hang it, I don't have any rubber isolators. I'm not using those old ones because, well, they just seem to be junk. So what I'm going to do is just make me a hook. I got some 1/4 inch round rod. I'm just going to bend it into a hook to hang here. And then, I don't know if you can see it or not, this cross bevel right here, I'm just going to weld it to it. It'll be a solid mount. And you might be thinking, well, what about vibration? Well, have you seen my tires right there? Those vibrate and are so loud that I will never feel or hear the exhaust. I promise you I won't. Anyway, that's the plan. So let me get me some hangers made and we'll get them welded on. All right, the first thing I got to do is mark this at 11 inches. So that's what they need to be. Then we'll cut it off. Then we'll put this in the vise and heat it up with a torch, and we're going to wrap it around this piece here. And that'll be it. Where's my glaces? My glaces. Where did I put my glaces? I got my safety glaces. Going to get angry. Going to get angry. I'm gonna let that cool off. Go out there and try it, make sure I got the bend right and all that. Then I'll make another one. Then we weld it too long. Well, I am very glad to get that done. I've been dreading that for a pretty good while. Tailpipes, they look pretty good. It ain't perfect, but a lot better than it was. Let's fire the old girl up, see what she sounds like. Now that we got the exhaust squared away, we need to figure out why this motor is running like garbage. And when I say garbage, I really mean it. And it's not a mess like a plug or a wire. It's like it's running out of gas. First thing that comes to my mind is fuel pressure. The problem with that is GM and their wonderful engineers, they didn't leave us a port to hook a fuel pressure gauge to. But this truck no longer has metal fuel lines. They all rusted. So I put rubber lines back from the tank up to somewhere behind the motor here. So it'll be pretty easy. I'm gonna get under here and on the frame rail, and we'll put us a fitting in there, hook my fuel pressure gauge to it, and let's just see what kind of pressure we got. All right, here's the apparatus I come up with to check the fuel pressure. Hose and hose will go here, and then your gauge will hook here. Yes, I am using pipe nipples as barb fittings. What's my motto? Use what you got. Let's go get this put on the truck and see what our fuel pressure is. I now have it installed in the line. There's my gauge hooked up there. The hose on that gauge is really, really short, so I'm gonna have to get up under it and see what kind of pressure we got once I get it started. Well, the RT it's showing about 8 pounds. It's supposed to be 12 to 13. And I pinch off the return line to see if it might be the pressure regulator, and it doesn't change. So that tells me it's the fuel pump, so we gotta put a fuel pump in it. Well, I reckon it's time to get that bed loose, scoot it back that way so I can get to that fuel pump. Far as I know, that's the original fuel pump. Like I said, I've had this truck since 93. It's a 90. It's showing 211,000 on the odometer, but that ain't worked in several years, so it's liable to have 220, 230, maybe more. That ain't bad out of a stock fuel pump. Anyway, let me get this bed loose. Well, there's been a slight change of plans. I can't get to any of the bolts holding the bed on. I don't know. I think I might have had a different U-joint than one I got. Where's it at? Anyway, it's too big and bulky. It don't bend enough to get the socket on there, and I can't hardly get a ratchet and wrench up there on it, so we're gonna drop the tank. It's about 3/4 of the way full, so this should be fun. Right now I'm struggling with this nut right here on this arm that tank sits on. It's rounded off, can't get it off, so let me fight with that for about 2 hours and then I'll be back. 3 hours later, there's my gas tank. I'll never get this back in. Let me get this fuel pump out, see what I got. Well, my goodness. I think I've got a fuel pump. Let me show you. My brother gave me this pump a few years ago. Pretty sure it's the same thing, but I'm going to look the number up. There's a number right there, and see what this fits. If it says a 90 K1500, well, there's my fuel pump. Well, I just got done looking this number up right here, E3902. It says it fits this. It looks identical, so we're going to go ahead and hook it up, put it in there, and I'll check the fuel pressure. And if I'm getting 12, 13 PSI, well, we're going to put this tank back in there. But not before I empty the gas out of it, because I ain't fighting that sucker full of gas. I ain't doing it. All right, let us put it back in. I'm gonna go hit the key, see what kind of pressure we got. All right, the key is on. What kind of pressures do we has? We got about 12-ish. Yes, sir. It's not holding, but I don't care at this point. As long as I got more pressure than what I had. Let's hit the key and let's just see if it revs up any better than it used to. It still don't start quick as it used to, but let's see what it revs up like. Can't really tell much difference. Let's see what the pressure is while it's running. It's still on about 12, so that's good. I do believe we may have that fixed. I won't know until I drive it, but I don't think I'm gonna go right now to get a sock because it's getting kind of late and I would like to get that transmission pan off, so let's do that. Before we pull the pan off the transmission, I'm gonna empty this tank right here because I refuse to put that tank in that truck with any gas in it at all. I just ain't gonna do it. I've done that before, and let me tell you, it ain't fun. I got this little pump right here I'm pumping the gas out with right now, and it is handy dandy. Let me tell you, it takes I think 2 D batteries, and it's a pumping son of a gun. It ain't slow. Anyway, I'm gonna get this emptied, and then we'll get this out of the way, and we'll go ahead and pull the pan on the transmission. But let me say this, some of y'all are probably wondering, why don't you just cut a hole in your bed? Well, I'll tell you why. It's pretty simple. I don't want to, and I'm not going to. I just don't want to hack my bed up like that. If I have to do this again in the near future, those bed bolts, I'm going to have to do something to get them to where I can get them out. It's due to this, you know, being a frame swap and me converting it to a short bed. It's supposed to have holes in the bottom of the frame where you can stick a socket up in there and get the bolts out. Well, those holes are not in the right place now. So, like I said, if I do this again, I'll cut those holes out where I can get a socket up in there and make this a lot easier. All right, we got the gasoline tank empty. I'm draining the transmission fluid now. Yes, I put a drain plug on that pan when I rebuilt it. Good time to explain to y'all what's going on with the transmission. This truck, when it was a half-ton, it came with a 700 R4. It's non-electronically controlled. Well, the donor frame, which was a 95, 3/4 ton, it had a 4L80E. That's the transmission that's in it now. That's an electronically controlled transmission. I was very ignorant of all of that, as far as, you know, what makes them work and all, when I did this swap. And I figured, well, I knew I had to have the 95 computer and the wiring harness to put in this truck. Well, I did that, and of course I had to repin the computer too, and got all that done and took off down the road. She's stuck in second gear. It took me 2 or 3 days to figure out that it's a little white box that converts the speed sensors to a signal for the computer to be able to read, and that helps the computer decide when to shift and all that. I didn't have that box. Well, I finally put it in there, and it started shifting sometimes, and sometimes it would be in limp mode, be stuck in second gear. You have to unplug the computer and plug it back in, and it'll shift fine until you shut the truck off, and then we go back in limp mode. Well, eventually it finally burned up third gear. Didn't have third gear at all. What it was, you know, that frame had set for 10 or 12 years, and I think it was third gear piston. The seal was just rotted. Anyway, I rebuilt the transmission, put it back in. Exact same problem. It would be stuck in second gear, limp mode, unplug the computer, plug it back in, and take off down the road and shift fine for a day. Well, I finally got tired of unplugging the computer, so I put a toggle switch on it where I just reach up there and turn the computer off, turn it back on, start the truck and head down the road. Well, then it got to where it wouldn't reset or something. And well, let me just show you how I'm shifting this truck now. Now don't laugh. See that right there? Yes, these are light switches that go in your house. This is A solenoid, this is B solenoid, this is torque converter lockup. And these transmissions, the pressure is controlled by pulse width modulation. Well, here's my pulse width modulator. It's a rheostat, and I've got it set to the transmission pressure about 100 pounds, maybe a little over. It shifts a little hard sometimes, but it'll be fine. Also, let me show you this. There's my toggle switch that I turn the computer on and off with. There's a computer and just a bundle of wires. I'm really tired of seeing my truck like this. I can't put it back together though until, I figure out what's wrong. Anyway, right now this configuration is first gear. That's second. There's third. There's overdrive. And then I lock it up. That worked great for a little while, and then all of a sudden I lost second gear. I have no clue why. Until, well, I got to thinking about it, and when I rebuilt this transmission, I didn't have a small torque wrench, and the valve body bolts, they're supposed to be like 10 or 15 foot-pounds. It may not even been that much. Well, my big torque wrench, it'll go that low, but not really. It'll just lightly click. Well, I think I over torqued the valve body, and that valve body's got several little valves that have to slide back and forth, and I think it's tweaked a little bit because it's too tight and it ain't letting it shift into second gear. Every once in a while I can get second gear, but most time it will not go into second. I just have to go first, third, overdrive, and then lock up. So I want to pull that pan off, and we're going to loosen all the valve body bolts, retorque them, and it wouldn't surprise me if there may be some bolts broke laying in the pan. I don't know. We'll just have to see when I get the pan pulled off. But I want to retorque them, put it back together, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that fixes the shifting problem. All right, I got the pan off transmission, got everything drained, and here's my big torque wrench, and it goes down to 10 foot-pounds. And the specs on those valve body bolts is 97 inch-pounds, which is 8 foot-pounds, roughly. Well, I probably run that down to 10 and then backed it off 2 numbers and, had it at 8. But like I said, it would barely click. They're probably over-torqued. So what I'm going to do is take my little one, and I've got it set on I think 100 inch-pounds right now. We'll go out there and see if it clicks. If it does, we'll go up 5 inch-pounds. See if it clicks, go up 5 more until I actually see where I'm at. I just want to see how tight I got them. What size are you, little bolts? 10 millimeter it is. I need a little bit longer extension. That's the best I can do. All right, what I say, I got it set on 100. All right, let's see. Yes, sir. It clicks easily at 100. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, let me move it up 5. All right, there is approximately 105. Oh yeah, clicks easily. Clicks easily. 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 Well, fellas, this right here, this torque wrench, it only goes to 200, and then I round it on around to a 230 with this little dial, and the bolts are not moving. It's popping. They're torqued over 230 inch-pounds. It's supposed to be 97. So, yeah, this is a major doomus on my part. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna loosen all of them, and then we'll retorque them like they're supposed to be, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that this will fix the shifting issue. All right, I'm just running through them and making sure that they all click. I didn't miss any. This is 97 inch-pounds, by the way. I cannot believe that I had them on. Well, I don't know what I had them on. I quit at 230 inch-pounds, and they were still clicking, and the bolt was not turning. So there's no telling how tight I had them. That's just, well, that's doomus for you. Anyway, it's getting dark. I'm gonna put this pan back up here to keep bugs and trash out of it, and we'll pick this up tomorrow. Well, I just got back from Ireland. I got me some transmission fluid. I got me a transmission filter. Got an Earl filter because I have no clue how many miles is on that oil because the odometer don't work. So I figured we'd go ahead and change that. And I got the fuel filter, whatever that is, screener, whatever. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this thing put back together. Well, I've already knocked the old seal out for the filter, put the new one in. And this is a brand spanking new filter. Just got it today. Well, y'all can't see it, but it's got rust all over it. I tried to wipe most of it off, but that's pretty bad out of a brand new filter. All right, let's get the pan on. Where are my bolts? Well, I don't know where my bolts are. Let me go find them.
I found them.
And if this does not fix the shifting issue, I will have a 4L80E for sale. Cheaply too. Freshly rebuilt. I had a universal joint somewhere that I brought with me. I don't know what I did with it. You ain't got a clue. Where could it have went? Oh, here it is. I broke my ratchet over there. Actually, I broke both my ratchets. I don't know how this one broke, but the little lever that goes, forward and reverse, it's broke. So I got to try to fix that, and then my big 1/2-inch ratchet. Well, let me just tell y'all this. Don't use a ratchet for a hammer. It flew apart. I got all the parts except for one. It's down here somewhere. So when I get this truck moved out of the way, I'll run a magnet across here and find it. And hopefully I can get it back together, but don't use a ratchet for a hammer. Well, it ain't good for it. The head stripped. So that's wonderful. Wonderful. Let me put some well, I can't even talk right now. Let me put some Teflon tape on the threads of this plug. All right, well, I think we're done down here on the transmission. So now let me get over here and see if I can get this gas tank back in. I'm not looking forward to that at all. No siree, I sure ain't. Ow, you son of a gun, that hurt. All right, I'm going to attempt to put this back in here with this bracket, this front bracket. I'm going to leave it attached to the tank. If y'all don't see this part, it means that I probably said a few words that I shouldn't, and I'm trying to keep this a family channel. So yeah. All right, well, here we go. I got to get you way up in there somehow. But that stays there. This will go up in here. Oh, come on now, get up in there. How in the devil did I get that up out of there? I don't know. That darn filler neck is really getting on my nerves. All right, I'm about halfway there. Go and find these dead long holes. Well, I've lost that strap. Oh, it's above the tank. It's supposed to be below it, so guess what? I gotta let it back down. Lord have mercy. Somebody come help me, because I'm fixing to get angry. All right, strap is back where it goes. Well, what has got it? Why won't it go? Let me go get a jack. How about that? All right, well, let's try this again. There we go. That one that I couldn't get off, guess what? It's out there in the yard somewhere. It ain't going back on. Well, now the bolt is stuck. All right, let's try it. Well, y'all know what just happened? It's one of them clip nuts. It broke. It's just spinning now. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. This is really it's really starting to get on my nerves. Remember how I said I wasn't gonna hack my bed up to get to the fuel pump? Well, I got a hole in my bed. That's the only thing I knew to do. You can see the nut down in there. And I can't get a socket on it because it's one of those clip nuts, you know, that goes over a hole. And the clip part broke. And I guess where the nut is welded to the clip, that's not letting me get a socket on it. So I'm gonna do the next best thing. Got my welder out here right there. I'm gonna try to weld that nut to the frame. I won't be able to see, so I'll be welding blind. Maybe we'll get it done. And then maybe we can get this gas tank mounted. All right, let us see if we're successful with our welding. Oh yeah. All right, let me tighten this one back. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Got one of my darn hoses caught. Get out of there, you son of a gun, you. That ain't going nowhere. Alrighty, I got the Earl drained out of the engine, putting some fresh back in it, and then I got to fill up the transmission, and then I reckon we can hit the road. Well, I got to put gas in the gas tank. I reckon we can hit the road and give her the old try and see if we got more power and see if that old transmission is going to shift right or not. Sure hope it does. Well, I got the oil changed and I got some transmission fluid in it. Went to start it and it wouldn't start. I couldn't figure out why. Well, then it hit me. I forgot to put gas in it. So as soon as I get this gas in, we'll fire it up. I'm gonna let it sit here and warm up and get the transmission fluid all everywhere and check it, and then we'll take it down the road and we'll give it the old try. Well, I just fired the truck up and then just happened to look down here. Yep, that's good old gasolines. I don't know. I ain't got a clue. I got a hose that's come off or got a hole in it or something. I ain't got a clue. Upon further investigation, I think I found the issue. That's the return line. So guess what? I get to drop the tank again. Well, I got the back side of the tank dropped, and I believe I can get to it pretty easily. I don't know if y'all can tell what's going on right there or not. See the clamp, it's in the middle of the screen now. Well, that's the return line. The return line actually broke. So that means that hose is really brittle, and it's probably gonna break again, knowing my luck. And right now my neck is on fire because I got some gasolines on it. It's burning like the pits of hell. So once I get that took care of, then I'm gonna come back and try to reattach that line, and then maybe, just maybe, we can go down the road in it. Well, now that I've took a bath in gasolines, I replaced what a 4-foot piece of this return line. This, I found some that I think is fuel line. This is probably vacuum line. It's not even marked. It's not braided. So most likely I used vacuum line. It's probably all I had at the time. And well, anyway, I got it replaced and it's connected down here in the frame rail now, so I can replace the rest of it sometime. Probably never. Anyway, let me finish putting the gas in it. We'll start it up, and if nothing else breaks, we'll go down the road. Used to, I couldn't put it in gear, whether it was reverse or forward, without it dying. It was due to the fuel pump, fuel pressure. Well, watch this right here. That's reverse. There's drive. She didn't die. So the fuel pump at least fixed that issue. Hopefully it fixed it running like garbage too. I'm running it through the gears right now, making sure all the transmission is full, and I'm fixing to go check the fluid level and top it off, and then we'll take it down the road. Fingers crossed that it shifts. Well, I believe I got all the fluids checked. They all look good. They have one thing left to do. Let's take her down the road and give her the old try. Alrighty, here we go. There's first. Here comes second. No, sir. We did not fix the problem. That's third. I'm gonna go to the house and see if I can find my magnetic base for the camera, the GoPro. Put it out there in the fender well and just see if we can at least figure that out, maybe. I don't know. Well, I can't find my magnetic base, so I don't guess we'll figure out what's wrong with the suspension right now. But let's go back and I'll drain the transmission again. I've got another solenoid that I can put on it, so we'll do that. I don't know if it's gonna fix it or not. Anyway, it's the only thing I know to do right now. Now I got a death wobble. This truck is falling apart. All right, I drug the old valve body out. This is the one that was on that transmission originally. This is solenoid A, 1-2 shift. Solenoid B, 2-3 shift. This is the one giving trouble. So what I'm going to do, these are brand new, by the way. I put them on there before I bought that. I bought a rebuilt valve body from Sonic's because there's some stuff in here that can get wore out, and they rebuild it. And anyway, these are brand new. They don't have any miles on them hardly. So we might replace this one in that transmission, just to see what happens. But what I want to do right now is there's a spool in here that shifts back and forth. What this does is when it's off, it's relieving pressure, and then when it comes on, it doesn't allow the pressure out, and that moves that spool that away. So what I want to see on that one out there is put this pick in there and see that moving in and out. If it does not move in and out, that's the issue. If it does move in and out, this is possibly the issue. I kind of doubt it, but we'll change that out, put it back together, and see what it does. If I still can't get second gear, then I don't know. Might have to seek professional help. All right, I got the pan off, and now that I got 10th degree burns on my arms, forearms, hands, and all that from the scorching hot transmission fluid, I got the solenoids loose. That's A and B. And the little spool valves up there, they're both moving in and out just fine. But let me show you what I have discovered about these solenoids right here. All right, I'm gonna get y'all real close to these two solenoids, and y'all listen. Don't pay any attention to the dripping water. Listen for a click. This is solenoid A, the circuit that I think is giving trouble. You don't hear nothing, do you? Here is solenoid B. Hear that click? All right, let me put a new solenoid on A, and then we'll do that test again. All right, I changed out solenoid A, so let's do that test again. Here's solenoid A. Hear that clicking? There's solenoid B. Now, mind you, solenoid A was a brand new solenoid that came with that rebuilt valve body right there that I got from Sonic's. So the only thing I can say to that, thanks Sonic's. I really appreciate you giving me a crap solenoid. Anyway, I'm gonna put this back together, put the pan on, put the fluid in, and I think this is gonna fix our issue. Well, part of it anyway. At least I'll have second gear, I'm hoping. All right, I got the transmission filled up. I've checked for leaks. There ain't no leaks. It's done got dark on us, but we're still gonna try it out. So let's go. All right, here's first gear. Oh, look at there. We got second gear. Got third gear. Got overdrive. Let's hit the lockup. Oh, yeah. That is awesome right there. I'm so glad to have that fixed. Downshift. New fuel pump definitely has made it run better. All right, let's try it one more time. Oh yeah. Do believe we got her fixed now. Well, I'm just a curious person by nature, and we are going to do a little investigating on this solenoid valve right here Now we're gonna start with checking the ohms. And as you can see right there, 21.3 is what it's reading. According to the interwebs, it should be 20 to 30. So that, was checking fine. I checked it, 2 or 3 or 4 months ago and it was checking fine. So I knew it wasn't at least burn up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear it apart, and it's either going to be stopped up or stuck. That's the only 2 possibilities left. So let me get it torn apart and we'll find out. All right, I got the valve tore apart. Got this little ball that fits in there. This plate goes here. I don't know which way it turns, but it goes right here. And then your actual solenoid goes right here. And this little, let me take a spring out of the way. That little piece right there, I'll zoom in. That, when you put the tire to it, that pops out and pushes that ball in here and closes it off. Well, this here, I'm pretty sure it's stuck. Let me get a pair of pliers and I'll push and pull on it, but it ain't moving. So pretty sure that's what the problem is. It's just stuck, whether it's got a bunch of trash in it or whatever, but it's stuck. All right, let me see if I can pull it out or push it in or whatever. Yeah, it came out, but it came out hard. It should, yeah, see how hard it, yeah, that's what the issue is. That sucker right there. It should fall out, is what I'm saying. And it won't. I'm having to pull pretty hard. So that, my friends, is what happened. Anyway, what have we learned? That even a reputable company like Sonic's, they can have junk parts too. Now y'all might be wondering, why didn't you go ahead and change this out when you retorqued the valve body? Well, because I wanted to know for sure what the problem was. If I'd have done both things at one time, I guarantee I'd have still thought that it was due to me over torquing that valve body, and apparently it's not. Apparently it was a bad solenoid. Well, we got 3 or 4 things fixed on the old truck. I'm very glad to have that nasty exhaust leak gone. Very glad that it's running much better, and having second gear back, that is wonderful, awesome, grand even. Far as the steering goes, I don't know. That's probably going to take a little while to figure it out. I don't want to just throw parts. We may have to just rebuild the whole steering, but I don't want to. This has a steering damper on it. The half-ton did not. That steering damper may be bad. Why 3/4 ton needs it and a half-ton don't, I don't know, because I'm almost positive that the steering is the same on them. The tires, y'all might think, well, you're big tires. No, I've run 33, 12, 50, 15s on these trucks for years and never had this issue. I will tell you this, it got a lot worse when I balanced that tire right there. It had just a little shimmy in it. I had that tire balanced, and then that's when it got worse and worse and worse. So I may go back and, well, I'm gonna go to a different shop, have both front tires balanced, because this one here never has been balanced because I couldn't get it off. And that may help it out, I don't know. O'Reilly's, as far as the steering damper goes, O'Reilly's wants $80, $90, $100 for that damper. I'm not paying that. Rock a Tow, $25, $30, but it'll take 3 or 4 or 5 days to get here. I may go ahead and order it from Rock Auto and put it on, but it's not going to be in this video because I don't have that kind of time to wait. But anyway, I'll keep working on the steering, and hopefully I'll get it figured out eventually. I tell you what, I wish I could have one vehicle that everything went smooth, didn't have to do stuff 2 or 3 times. That's just, well, it gets on my nerves. Anyway, appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit the like, comment, subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Share it with your friends. Check out my merch. There's a link below. And until next time, go do something. Blurp, blurp.